So today I'm visiting Gordon Hemingway. Gordon is milking 180 cows just outside Enniscorthy and is averaging up to 575 kilos of milk solids sold. So I'm going to have a chat with Gordon and see can I get some of his top tips. Gordon, how are you?
Hi, George.
Thanks a million for having us here today.
No problem, George, yeah.
So Gordon, tell us a little bit about when you started here, your journey so far.
Yes, okay, George. So I came home in 2001 and my dad was milking 60 cows at the time. More or less straight away formed a milk production partnership, and we worked our way up to about 90 cows then, as much as quotas as we could get. And after that then, when quotas went, we expanded the herd up to 180 cows, what we're at today.
You've always been manufacturing milk, you never liquid quota?
No, it's all spring calving. We did milk through the winter for a few winters after we were depopulated with BSE, and I hated that. I wouldn't do it again for any money. We're all spring now, 180 spring calving cows, and that's kind of what we're at now.
We're at the cusp of silly season. You're just about to kick off calving. Talk me through your calving system. From when the calf drops, what do you do?
When the calves are born, the cows calve in a loose house, and as they're born then the calves are brought down to pens where they're fed their colostrum. So the cows are milked more or less straight away with a solo milker, and the calves are fed. So we know they're fed. The calves don't really suck the cows, so they're fed their colostrum 3 litres each, hopefully within a few hours of birth. Then the calves they're just kept there then, and they move on to a feeder then when at a week old or so.
So tell us, you're going to be under pressure. You've 160 cows to calve.
180, yeah.
180 cows to calve. How do you manage your paperwork, or your registering calves?
Last spring I purchased a herd app, and it's a very useful tool. So we just register the calves as they're born on the app, and it's really worked very well. I think it's fabulous. Well, even scanning your cows, you're scanning and you can put all the information in on the app as you scan them, and you have a complete fertility run on your cows as straight away, like, rather than have to go to the book and go through them all. It's just there on your phone.
We can't not talk about your production in terms of you've done 576 kilos of milk solids this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you must be feeding a lot of meal, or
yeah. Well, it's grass driven. Our diet, we did feed 1.2 tons of meal,
which is not a lot.
Well, some guys in my discussion group now wouldn't say that's not a lot, but we're not on feed to yield, but the cows needed to be fed to that level this year, and they paid off, like, you know. Yeah.
And your grassland management then? Yeah,
so in the spring, sure, it all rotate. We start in the spring on a rotation planner, and then we're on an 18 to 21 day rotation for the grazing season. We'll take off surpluses when there's surpluses. This year, on the grazing block, we're stocked at 3.7 cows to the hectare. So we took off of that block 300 bales surplus grass for surplus grass, so we use that for feeding at the shoulders, like, you know.
Yeah. So
we did grow quite a bit of grass this year, yeah, but it was a good year.
Brilliant. And maybe talk about your cows a bit.
They were doing the business as they are, and I like the type of cow I have that have a bit of scope. Like this year we did, like you said, the 576, but that's 6.8, 50 litres per cow, and they have the solids 3.71 average protein and 447 fat. And
you're following your EBI in terms of your fertility?
Yes. Well, with fertility, I think I had a very high score on fertility a number of years ago, and not so much on the milk, so I focused a little bit more on milk then, so they were breeding more milk into the herd rather than just focusing on fertility, if you get me. But we're still focusing on fertility with milk.
You've always had the spring cow, so you've always had a really good focus on fertility.
Yeah, well, this year we're using a heat time.
Oh, so moo call heat.
Yes, that's right. So we'll be using teaser bulls this year, and we have no stock bull. So it'll be all AI. 12 weeks AI for the cows and 9 for the heifers. We'll select 10% of the cows for Belgian blue straws, because we don't need a whole load of Friesians. So we'll breed 5 weeks Friesian and Belgian blue. So 10% getting Belgian blue and the remainder getting Friesian. And the heifers on the out farm are bred to Friesian also.
talk me through that process. How do you pick out the 10%?
After time, you get to know your cows. Cows that may have issues, you know, that have problems, I'll select them. EBI also I'll pick on, for like obviously lower EBI cows. If they're a low EBI cow and she's going in calf every year, I'll breed Frisian away on her. Like.
Do you sell off farm or do you go to local sales?
Yeah, so the beef animals, the Belgian blue bulls we keep ourselves, and they're fattened at 2 years of age. The heifers are generally, there's a market with suckler farmers for replacement stock, and the Frisian bulls then generally just go to the mart. I also used a few some Aubrac straws this year, and that was just to add value to the beef calves, because Angus tend to be a bit lower value. So we said we'd try the Aubrac out, and sure, we'll see how they go. So
do you DIY AI here, or do you get the service in?
No, we don't. We use the technician from Progressive, Eugene Keogh, and he comes, basically we just AI once a day. So every morning after milking, Eugene calls around 9 o'clock, and the cows are served obviously then in the morning. And then when he's on his way back in the evening, he calls the out farm and the heifers are served in the afternoon. So it gives us time from after morning milking to sort the heifers, to have them in for him, and he'll get them on his way back then.
Question for me in terms of going forward and borrowing money, and you know, you go to different people and guys that say, oh, you know, you need to, you know, max out your loans and yes, put in a new parlour and all the rest of it. What advice do you have in terms of infrastructure and how I should go about that?
I suppose you you make the best of what you've got, George. Like, you know, and that's what we've always tried to do here. We started off with 60 cubicles, and basically as expansion, as the numbers increase, we built very simple facilities, kennel type facilities all around the shed, and now we have on the farm here 180 cubicles, and we can cater for the cows, and same on the out farm, we have 50 cubicles up there for the heifers. So they're all, we've good facilities for the stock now. So sorry, George, to interrupt you there, but it was all done out of cash flow. The facilities were built, and we did a lot of the work ourselves, myself and Dad and our worker. And
Gordon, in terms of scale, do you think you've reached the number you want to get to, or are you going to push on again, because you've been getting bigger ever since you kind of got here?
Yeah, no. I think we're quite happy now at the number we're at. It's manageable, and we can do it to the level and look after the animals to the level we want. Like, you know, expanding further obviously would incur more labour costs, and also, would I be able to manage the herd of cows as well? You know, if you put in more cows, obviously I can there's only so many hours in the day, George, so, you know, there's only so much any man can do. So at the minute, we're happy. We'll do what we're doing, and we'll see what happens.
So in terms of advice for me then, going forward, I mean, like, what do you think I need to really focus on?
Yeah, well, I think, George, if you want to focus on anything, focus on joining a discussion group and try and get involved, because when I came home, I didn't know much now, to be honest, like, and I did a bit of relief milking, and for one of our neighbours in particular, and he got me involved in the discussion group, and it's really from there I just got a real liking for this dairying, and it focused me, and I knew what could be achieved and what I was aiming for, and I never came home from a meeting not thinking about something. I always wanted, you know, I always loved going to look at other people's farms and learning from them, like. And I think the other thing is to do the simple thing. Just do it simply, don't get overcomplicated, because, you know, everything can be simple. It's at the end of the day, it's getting the cow to eat grass and putting milk in the tank, and making it as simple as you can, like, you know. You know, you heard now, so I suppose you have to decide on your breeding program or whatever for them, but look at it's EBI focused, I suppose, and work from there. And if you're in winter at the minute, well, it's still EBI focused. The same thing, George, like, you know, you're eating grass predominantly for most of the year, like, you know, so you want to just don't get, again, that's very simple. Progressive Genetics will do all that for you. Yeah.
Brilliant, Gordon. Thanks a million for your time.
Okay,
Thank you
George.
very much.
Yeah, no hassle. Thank you.